Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to another story time. I am so glad that I'm able to join you on another story where we will be continuing to read the story of Moses. I am so excited to find out what will happen next, and I am sure you are excited too. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Adriano. Thank you for joining me again. I am very excited because it's moving day.
It is?
Yes! And I would like to move to a new reading space because last time we were in the forest and there were so many animals dropping by. Plus, there were too many flies. That reminds me. Let's do a quick recap.
Okay, I can do the recap today. Moses returned to Egypt with his brother Aaron and told Pharaoh to let God's people go. Pharaoh refused, so God sent many terrible plagues to show that he was the one true God and to make Pharaoh let the Israelites go. He turned the river to blood. He sent frogs, lice, and flies, and made terrible boils come on the Egyptians. He caused the death of their animals. He sent hail and locusts and darkness upon the land. Many times Pharaoh said that he would let the people go, but he would always go back on his word and harden his heart. God told Moses that he would send one final plague upon the Egyptians that would finally make Pharaoh let the Israelites go. And that's the story. What do you think this final plague will be?
Well, let's read the story and find out. Today's story is Moses and the Red Sea.
Let's begin the story. Moses came again before Pharaoh to tell him the words of the Lord. And he said to him,
About midnight, I will go out into Egypt, and all the firstborn in the land of Egypt shall die. Whoa. From the firstborn of Pharaoh upon his throne to the firstborn of the maidservants and all the firstborn of the cattle. Wow, God is very serious now.
He sure is.
And there shall be a great cry throughout all the land of Egypt, such as was never heard before, and shall never be again. But none of the children of Israel shall suffer, neither they nor their animals. Thus you shall see how the Lord has put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Ooh.
Hmm.
And Moses went out from Pharaoh in a great anger. But Pharaoh's heart was still hardened, and he would not let the children of Israel go. Oh no. Moses called for all the elders of Israel and spoke to them in accordance with the commandment of the Lord, saying,
Take a lamb from your flock, according to the size of your family, and kill it. So if they had a large family, that means they would need a large lamb, right? But if they had a small family, then they didn't need to kill a large lamb, right? That would be too much, right?
Right.
Let's find out more. And paint the doorway of your house with the blood of the lamb. Make sure no one goes out of their house until the morning. I wonder why.
Let's find out.
You shall roast the lamb and shall eat the meat with unleavened bread and with bitter herbs. So, unleavened bread is bread that has no rising agent like baking powder or yeast, right?
Right.
I know when you're making your cinnamon buns, you love to put yeast in there and it makes them big and fluffy and rise up in the oven, right?
Right.
But with this bread, it will be nice and flat.
Okay, let's find out what happens next.
When you eat it, you shall be ready to depart with your shoes on your feet and your staff in your hand. And you shall eat the meal quickly. So that means they will be leaving very quickly. So they need to be ready while they're eating.
No delaying.
No delays. It is the Lord's Passover. For the Lord will pass through Egypt to strike the Egyptians. But when he sees the blood upon the door, the Lord will pass over the door and will not allow death to come into your house to strike you. Oh, so this is why they need to put the blood over their door. So when the angel of death is passing through, only the doors that have no blood on them, that the angel of death will go into, and there will be death of the firstborns, right?
Right.
I hope the children of Israel are obedient and put the blood over the door, right?
Right. These are very important instructions.
Yes, follow the rules. Okay, let's keep going and find out more. And you shall observe this thing as a covenant with God. So, covenant is like a promise. It shall come to pass when you come to the land which the Lord has promised to give you, that you shall keep this Passover. And when your children say, "Why do you do this?" then you shall say, "It is a sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, for he passed over the house of the children of Israel in Egypt when he struck down the Egyptians and he saved our family."
Ooh.
Yeah, so they will be able to tell their children about the mighty miracle that God did, right?
And how he protected them and their family.
Yes, amazing.
The people bowed down their heads and worshipped. Then the children of Israel went away and did as the Lord commanded Moses and Aaron. And it came to pass at midnight that the Lord struck down all the firstborns in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of the captive in the dungeon to the firstborn of all the cattle, even the firstborn of the child of Pharaoh. Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians. And there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where someone was not dead.
Oh no. Wow, that's really sad, right?
It sure is.
But can you imagine that one day I got you a pet fish and I give you instruction and I say, "Adriano, make sure that you feed this fish every day," right?
Right.
But you decided not to listen to my instruction. And for a whole week, you did not feed your fish. And then one day, as you pass your fish tank, you saw that the fish is dead. How would you feel?
Very sad. Maybe even angry.
Well, that's how Pharaoh must have been feeling, right? He did not listen when God warned him. And so here, God did as he spoke. And the firstborn of the children of Egypt are now dead. And so they're very sad.
Even Pharaoh's son died too.
Yes. Now, let's see what Pharaoh will do.
Pharaoh called for Moses and Aaron by night and said,
"Rise up and get out from among my people, both you and all the children of Israel, and go worship the Lord as you have asked, and take your flocks and your herds as you ask, and be gone." Wow, it is just as God said. He is letting the people go.
"Hooray!"
Yes!
And the Egyptians hurried the people and tried to send them out of the land in haste, for they said,
We are all dead men. So the people of Egypt wanted the Israelites to leave as quickly as possible because they were afraid that they would die too if they did not let them go. Let's keep going and find out more.
So the people took their dough and bound their kneading boards in their clothes and put them on their shoulders. And the children of Israel borrowed from the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And the Lord gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so they lent them all these things. And the people of Israel departed and journeyed from Ramses to Succoth. There were about 600,000 of them on foot, not counting the children. And there also went with them many other people, large flocks and herds. The night they went out from Egypt, the children of Israel had been living in Egypt for 430 years. Wow, that is a really long time.
And that is a lot of people. Oh, wow. No wonder Pharaoh did not want to let them go. Who will do all that work now?
The Egyptians.
For sure. All right, let's keep going.
And it came to pass that God did not lead them through the way of the land of the Philistines, although it was a shorter route. For God said,
Pre-adventure, the people would want to return to Egypt when they see war.
So God led them through the way of the Red Sea. This means that God didn't want to take them through the quick and easy route to the promised land, because he knew that if he'd led them that way, the Philistines would want to fight with them, and the children of Israel would be afraid and want to go back to Egypt, and that wouldn't be good, right?
No, wouldn't.
At that time, the children of Israel were just starting their walk with God, and they didn't have enough faith to face those challenges and to trust God. So God was going to bring them through the way of the Red Sea instead. Let's keep reading. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him.
Do you remember Joseph?
Yes, I do. He was the son of Jacob, right?
Correct. So before Joseph died, he told the children of Israel that God would visit them and take them out of that land to a new land, right? And he made them promise to take his bones with them to this new land, which is in Canaan, because I can imagine that he wanted to be buried in the same cave, right, with Abraham and Isaac and his father Jacob.
Right.
All right, let's keep reading and find out more.
They journeyed from Succoth. Then they camped in Etham, at the edge of the wilderness. And the Lord went before them by day in a pillar of cloud to show them the way, and by night a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day and night. He did not take away from the people the pillar of cloud by day, nor the pillar of fire by night.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you imagine? The people did not have to stop at night because they had a pillar of fire that would give them light so they could see, right?
Right, and they didn't have to use a map because God was guiding them in the cloud and the fire.
You're right, Adri, but I can imagine how amazing that must have been. I would have loved to been able to see that, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would.
That must have been a sight. Wow. All right, let's keep reading.
It was told to the king of Egypt that the people had fled, and the heart of Pharaoh and his servants were moved against the people. And they said,
Why have we done this and let Israel free from serving us?
Then Pharaoh made ready his chariots and took his people with him. He took 600 of the best chariots in Egypt and put captains over all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, and he pursued the children of Israel, for the children of Israel had gone out proudly. The Egyptians came after them, all the horses and chariots of Pharaoh, and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them, camping beside the sea. When Pharaoh came near, the children of Israel looked up. Seeing the Egyptians marching after them, they were frightened. And then the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. And then they said to Moses,
"Were there no graves in Egypt? Have you brought us to die in the wilderness? Why have you brought us out of Egypt? Did we not tell you in Egypt, 'Let us alone, so that we may serve the Egyptians'? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness."
"Oh no, even after God has shown them those mighty signs in Egypt, they are complaining and being afraid instead of trusting God."
Yes, you're right, Adri. This also proved that what God said was right. If they had gone the way of the Philistine, they would get scared and run back to Egypt. But here, they have no place to go. Pharaoh is behind them, and the sea is in front of them. What will they do?
Let's read on and find out. Moses said to the people,
"Do not be afraid. Stand still and watch the power of the Lord to save you, as he will show you today. For the Egyptians whom you have seen today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you if you will be calm." So I can imagine that the people were so afraid. Maybe they were running around and screaming, wondering what to do, where they could hide. What do you think?
"I think you're right, Mom."
All right, let's keep reading and see if they will calm down, and let's find out what God will do.
And God said to Moses,
"Why do you cry to me? Tell the children of Israel to go forward." What? There is no place for them to go forward.
"There's a sea in front of them."
Oh dear, I guess we need to read on and find out more, right?
Right.
"But you must lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it." Ooh, divide the sea? This is amazing. "And the children of Israel shall go on dry land through the middle of the sea." How will they go on dry land? It would be,
What?
yeah, and muddy, right? They'll have mud all over their feet. But if God says it, then
It must happen.
yes. Let's keep reading. "And you shall see that I will harden the hearts of the Egyptians, and they shall follow you. Oh. Then I will show my power over Pharaoh and over all his armies, his chariots, and his horsemen. And the Egyptians shall know that I am the Lord when I have shown my power." Wow.
Then the pillar of cloud moved from in front of the children of Israel and went behind them. It came between the camp of Israel and the camp of the Egyptians, but it gave light to Israel by night, so that the Egyptians did not come near Israel all that night. Wow, that's amazing. God is protecting them from the Egyptians.
Yes, because they cannot pass to attack the children of Israel, right?
Right.
Whoa.
Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by making a strong east wind blow all night. It made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided.
That's amazing, don't you think?
Yes, definitely. I would love to see that.
Me too. God is amazing. I'm so happy that He's my God.
Me too. Let's keep reading. The children of Israel walked into the middle of the sea, upon dry ground, and the walls were divided, on their right hand and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and went into the middle of the sea after them, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. When morning came, the Lord looked down on the army of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and the cloud. He made the wheels fall off their chariots and made them drive heavily, so that the Egyptians said,
Let us flee from the children of Israel, for the Lord fight for them. They made a big mistake going after the children of Israel, right?
Right, they should have realized that earlier.
Yes! When they saw the fire, they should have turned back.
Then God said to Moses,
Stretch out your hand over the sea, so that the waters may come together again and cover the Egyptians. Whoa.
Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its normal position. The Egyptians fled before it, but the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the middle of the sea. The water returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the army of Pharaoh that had followed him into the sea. Not one of them survived. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hands of the Egyptians. When Israel saw the great work the Lord did against the Egyptians, the people stood in awe of the Lord and believed in him and his servant Moses. Then Moses and the children of Israel sang a song to the Lord, and Miriam the prophetess, the sister of Moses, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women went out after her with tambourines and danced.
Wow, they were happy. God delivered them. They saw the great and mighty, powerful hand of God upon the Egyptians, and they are safe on the other side, right?
Right.
So now they are giving God all the praise for the mighty work that He did. All right, let's keep going and see what happens next in their journey.
So Moses led the Israelites from the Red Sea into the wilderness. They went for 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
I could imagine they were very thirsty.
Walking for 3 days, you would be thirsty, right?
Right. When at last they came to Marah, they could not drink the water there, for it was bitter. For this reason it was given the name Marah, meaning bitterness. Oh no. It must be terrible being able to see the water, but knowing that you can't drink it.
Yes, you're right.
The people began to murmur against Moses, saying,
What shall we drink? Oh no, they can't drink the bitter water. They will get sick. What should they do?
They should trust God to provide for them and ask Him what they should do. But instead, they are complaining. Oh no. Let's keep reading. Moses cried to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree. And when he cast it into the water became sweet. And there the Lord gave them a law, saying,
If you will listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God, and will do what is right in his sight, and follow his commandments, and keep all his laws, I will not bring upon you any of those diseases which I brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you. I wouldn't want those boils, would you?
No.
So God is warning the people, just like how your parents would give you rules to follow, right?
Right.
All right, let's keep reading.
Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 wells of water and 70 palm trees, and they camped beside the waters.
That's a lot of palm trees, right?
Right, and a lot of wells.
Yes.
More water. Nice. But Mom, what will they eat?
Remember, they took dough with them when they left Egypt, so they could bake it when they needed it and make bread or cakes, right?
Right.
Let's read on and find out what happened next.
Onward from Elim they journeyed, and all the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin on the 15th day of the second month after their departure from Egypt. And the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. Oh no. Wonder what they're complaining about this time.
Let's read on and find out.
And they said,
It would have been better for us to die by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt. Oh dear. When we sat down to bowls of meat and ate our fill of bread, for you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill all of us with hunger?
oh no, that's not nice.
Oh dear.
Then God said to Moses,
You shall see. I will rain bread down from heaven for you. Wow. Can you imagine eating heavenly food in the wilderness?
ooh.
Wow. The people shall go out and gather a certain amount every day, so that I may prove them to see whether they will obey my laws or not.
Moses and Aaron said to all the children of Israel,
When evening comes, you shall know that it is the Lord whom brought you out of the land of Egypt. And when morning comes, you shall see the glory of the Lord, for he has heard your murmurings against him. Your murmurings are not against us, for what are we? But you murmur against the Lord.
while Aaron was speaking to the congregation of the children of Israel, they looked over the wilderness, and there they saw the glory of the Lord appear in a cloud. Then God spoke to Moses, saying,
I have heard the murmuring of the children of Israel. Speak to them and say, In the evening you shall eat meat, and in the morning you shall have your fill of bread. And so you shall know that I am the Lord your God. It is very sad how much the people complained. God keeps proving himself to them that he's able to do what seems impossible. He provided water for them, and when the water was bitter, he made it sweet. But yet still the children are not trusting in him, right?
Right.
That's really sad.
It sure is. Oh no. Let's keep reading. And it came to pass that in the evening quail flew up all over the camp, and in the morning dew lay all around the people. And when the dew had disappeared, they saw lying on the face of the wilderness small round things, as small as hoarfrost, on the ground. And Moses said to them,
This is the bread which the Lord has given to you to eat. And this is the commandment of the Lord. You are to gather depending on how many you have to feed. Each man is to gather for those in his tent. So you should not gather more than you have in your family, right? So if there's two people in your family, you should just take a little. But if you have 10 people in your family, then you should take a lot, right?
Yes. So the children of Israel went out and gathered bread. Each man had enough to feed his family.
Do not leave any of it until the morning, Moses said.
Nevertheless, they did not listen to Moses, and some of them left it until the morning. And it brought forth worms, and it smelled foul.
Ew.
Oh, why didn't they listen to Moses? They should have listened.
They're very stubborn, aren't they?
Right, they want to do their own thing.
Yes, they're not following the rules.
And Moses was angry with them. So they gathered the bread every morning, each man according to those he had to feed. And when the sun grew hot, it melted.
Wow. Almost like snowflakes, right?
Right. When the 6th day came, they gathered twice as much bread for each man, and the rulers of the congregation came to Moses for directions. And he said to them,
This is what the Lord has said. Tomorrow is the day of rest, the Lord's Sabbath. Bake what you want to bake today, and boil what you want to boil. And what is left, you may save to keep for tomorrow.
So they laid it away until the next morning, as Moses told them, and it did not smell bad, nor was there a single worm in it. Wow! So when on their own they wanted to go and save it, it spoiled and there were worms in it. But now, on the Sabbath, they could save the food and it wouldn't smell bad. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, because this time they're following the rules. That's the rule that God set, that on the 6th day they should take twice the amount and save for the next day because it's a Sabbath, a day of rest. So no work, right? So then God allowed for it not to go bad on that day. So that's why it's important to follow the
Rules.
Amen.
And Moses said,
Today is the Lord's Sabbath. So today you shall not find bread in the field. 6 days you are to gather it. But on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, there shall be
none. But some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather, and they found none. Oh no. And the Lord said to Moses,
How long will you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? Because I have given you the Sabbath. I give you the bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Let no man go out to seek food on the 7th day.
Now the house of Israel called the name of the food manna. It was white, like coriander seed, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses spoke to the people, saying,
The Lord commanded that some manna shall be kept for your descendants, so that they may see the bread which was given to you in the wilderness when you were brought from the land of Egypt. Wow. So they're keeping it so that their children and their grandchildren can see what God provided for them in the wilderness,
and
right?
God's going to preserve it so it doesn't go bad.
Yes, that's right, Adrian.
And he commanded Aaron to take a pot and put some manna into it to be kept for this purpose. And the children of Israel ate manna for 40 years.
Wow, maybe that's why they were so healthy, right? We didn't hear of them getting sick and needed to go to the doctor, right?
No.
No, so this was really good food that they were eating, right?
Right.
All right, let's keep reading.
But it came to pass that when the children of Israel had left the wilderness of Sin and had pitched their camps in Rephidim, they found that there was no water for them to drink. Therefore they complained to Moses and said,
Give us water that we may drink. Why did you bring us out of Egypt? To kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? Oh boy. These children of Israel complained a lot.
They did.
Oh,
Moses cried to the Lord, saying,
what shall I do to these people? They are almost ready to stone me.
Oh no, it seems like Moses is a little frustrated.
I would be, wouldn't you?
And God said,
Go on before the people and take with you the elders of Israel. Take in your hand the rod and go. I will stand before you there upon the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, so that the people may drink.
And this Moses did, as the Lord commanded, and water came forth out of the rock, and the people drank of it. Wow, God provided for them.
Again, even though they complained. Wonder how God is feeling.
Must be feeling sad and disappointed.
Yeah, because he is trying to prove them to see if they will trust in his great power, right? But they keep failing. That's sad, right? All right, let's keep going.
Moses named the place Massa, meaning temptation, because the children of Israel tempted the Lord and tried to test him, saying, "Is the Lord with us or not?"
Oh dear.
Amalek came with his army and attacked the people of Israel as they camped in Rephidim. And Moses said to Joshua,
Choose men and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand.
So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with Amalek. Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass, when Moses had held up his hand, Israel was victorious. And when he let down his hand, Amalek was victorious. But Moses' hands became weary, so they took a stone, and he sat on it. Aaron and Hur held up his hands, the one on the right side and the other on the left. Thus Moses' hands were steady until the going down of the sun. Joshua defeated Amalek and his people.
Wow, that's amazing. But can you imagine fighting for an entire day till the sun goes down? And even Moses was not able to hold up his hand for so long, right?
No, he got tired. Joshua and Hur had to help him.
Yeah, I can't imagine holding up even one hand for 5 minutes. Moreover, for an entire day? Wow. But God was with them. It's not by their strength, right? But God was with them, giving them the power to make them victorious, right?
Right.
Okay, let's keep going.
When Jethro, priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all the Lord had done for Moses and for Israel, he came to see Moses in the wilderness. Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and told him all that the Lord had done to Pharaoh and to the Egyptians for Israel's sake. And Jethro said,
Blessed be the Lord. Now I know that he is greater than all gods. I agree with Jethro. Do you?
"Yes." And it came to pass on the next day that Moses sat to judge the people. And the people stood by Moses from morning to evening. And when Jethro saw this, he said,
What is this thing that you do with the people? Why do you sit by yourself alone? And why do all the people stand by you from morning to evening?
And Moses said to his father-in-law,
The people come to me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come to me, and I make them know the statutes of God and his laws.
And Moses' father-in-law said to him,
The thing that you do is not good. You will soon get weary, both you and the people. This task is too much work for you. You are not able to do it by yourself alone. Listen now to me. You should choose from the people who fear God, who are truthful and honest. Place them over the people to be rulers, and let them judge the people for small matters. And every great matter they shall bring to you. Thus shall it be easier for you, and they shall share the work with you. If you do this thing, and God so command you, then you will be able to endure. And all these people also shall go to their place in peace. I think this is a really good advice that Jethro is giving Moses, right?
"Right."
Yeah, it was too much work. And but at the end of the day, maybe some people did not get their problem solved because he could not see all that people in one day, right?
Right.
All right, let's keep going.
Moses Moses listened to his father-in-law and did all that he said. Then Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. The children of Israel departed from Rephidim and came to the desert of Sinai, and they pitched there. Wow, wonder what great sign God will show them there.
Well, you have to join us again next time to find out. Thank you, Adriano, for coming and helping me with this for the second part of Moses. What did you love about this story today?
I love that in this story, God showed the children of Israel his mighty power and that he was able to provide for them with their needs. He parted the Red Sea and defeated the Egyptian army. He provided water in the wilderness when they were thirsty, and he provided food for them when they were hungry. I could just imagine they were enjoying their quail and manna. God protected them from the Amalekites too and helped them to defeat them. God showed the children of Israel that they could trust him to supply them with all their needs and for their protection.
Yes, very good. I love that too. There is so much to learn from this story. I love how the children of Israel were praising God when they crossed over the Red Sea. God showed them his great power. But a short while later, we see how they complained and murmured against God. We may think, how could they do that? Or why would they say such mean things? But if we look at ourselves, we can see that we sometimes do the same thing. When winter is here, we complain that it's too cold or there is too much snow. When spring comes, we complain that there is too much rain and we can't go out and play. Then during summer, we complain that it's too hot. Oh boy. We spend more time complaining than giving God thanks. We often forget that in all things, we should give God thanks. If it's raining or it's too hot, give God thanks that the plants are being watered and getting sunlight so that they can grow and we can have food to eat, right? If you move to a new place to live, be thankful that there will be new people for you to share God's love with and that you have a place to live. Just imagine every time your parents would give you something, whether it's a new toy or dinner, that you would complain and find fault with what they have given you. How would that make your parents feel? That would make them feel bad, right? Yes. So let us think about how we make God feel when we complain each time he blesses us. Let us ask the Lord to help us to be thankful in all situations, not only when things are going good, but even when things are not going the way that we plan. Let us remember, in all things, give God thanks. The Bible says, in everything, give thanks, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus concerning you. 1 Thessalonians 5, verse 18.
Amen.
Thank you, boys and girls, for joining us for another story time. God bless you and see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.
Adriano is still here. Do you want to do the questions, Adri?
Sure. It's question time. Are you ready? Let's begin with question number 1. What did the people follow by day? Remember, God was leading the people. So, how did he guide them? What did they follow? Did they follow fire? Did they follow a cloud? Or did they follow a map? This one's a hard one. I do remember that they did follow fire, but what did they follow by day? Let's see. Whoa! Oh. Oh no, it knocked down the answers. But I'm glad it left the right one. It was the cloud. They followed the cloud by day. Let's keep going. Number 2. What was the name of the bread that God gave them? Was it manna, bagel, or cornbread? Which one was it? Do you know the answer? Let's find out. Whoa! Oh no, that tire spotted mud all over our board. But again, the right answer is still okay. It was manna. Good job if you got it. Okay, next question. Number 3. They stopped at a place that had 70 palm trees, waterfalls, or hotels. Which one was it? Palm trees, waterfalls, or hotels? Let's see. Let's find out. Oh, it's a blimp. Oh, but it's covering 2 of our answers. Oh, but the right answer is still uncovered. It was the palm trees. There were 70 palm trees. Okay, let's continue. What did Moses put in the bitter water? Did he put some honey into it? Did he put sugar into it? Or did he put a piece of a tree into it? Which one? I know sugar does make things sweet. Let's find out. Hey, it took away the car. That's good. Hey, it's taking away the answers too. But left the right one again. It was the tree. Moses put the tree into the bitter water. Okay, last question. Who did the Israelites fight with in Rephidim? Did they fight with the Philistines? Did they fight with Amalek? Or did they fight with the Egyptians? Which one? Let's find out. Whoa, what happened? Oh no, it seems like the power went out. What are we gonna do? Let's turn on a flashlight. Oh, the correct answer was Amalek. Good job. I hope you guys got all the answers right. Now, it's game time. Mom, would you like to do the game?
I would love to do the game, Adriano. All right, boys and girls, are you ready? Instructions. Let's see the instructions for this game. Odd one out. First, look at the pictures. Next, check which picture is not from the story. Last, say which colored light has the picture that is the odd one out. All right, are you ready? Let's begin. First picture, I could see a mom and her son, and she's eating what seems to be the Passover. Wow. All right, let's look at our next picture. I could see 2 men, and they're eating what looks to be manna. Is this from the story? Let's check the third one. I can see Joseph, and that looks like Potiphar thinking about pizza. Is that from this story? I don't think so, but let us check. Let's see which color light. Red light, yellow light, or green light? Let's find out. It's the green light. Green light. I hope you got that right. That was not in our story. All right, next one. Okay. Let's look at our yellow light. I see a piece of tree in the water. This must be the bitter water. Is that from our story? Let's check another one. I can see a basket that looks like a baby's basket, and it's in the water. And I see a sister watching over the basket. Is that from our story? Let's think about it, but let's check the green light. I can see Moses. It looks like he just parted the sea. Which one is the odd one out? Which light? Red light, green light, or yellow light? Let's find out. It's the red light. Red light. Good job. I hope you got it right. Okay, let's try another one. All right, so the picture is at our green light. I can see Moses, and he's standing by the pillar of fire. Think about it. Was that in our story? Let's try another one. The red light. I can see Moses again, and he's standing by the pillar of clouds. Was that in our story? Let's check the yellow light. I can see Jethro and his daughter Zipporah, and they're sitting by a fire at their house in Midian. Is that in our story? Let's think about it. Let's check our answer. This one is pretty tricky. Oh, it's the yellow light. Jethro and Zipporah. Not in this one. All right, let's keep going. Okay, let's look at our green light. I can see Pharaoh's army, and it seems like they're going through the Red Sea when it was parted, because I can see those fishes. They're so cute. All right, let's check another light. The yellow light. Wow, I see Amalek and Joshua. It looks like they're fighting. Think that was in our story. Do you remember? Let's check the red light. Oh, I know who this is. This looks like Jacob and Esau. Were they in this story? I don't think so. But let's check. Do you know which light? Red, yellow, or green? Do you have an answer? All right, let's find out. It's the red light. Red light. Good job. I hope you had fun playing with me, because I had so much fun today. All right, boys and girls, don't forget, join us for a song. Okay, thank you so much for playing with us today. God bless you. Take care and see you next time. Bye.